Welcome to Not a Roofers podcast, where we discuss roofing
without all the jargon. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Charity.
And this is today's episode.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Not a Roofers podcast. Today we are discussing how to find and how to evaluate roofing contractors.
Unlike some of our other episodes, we are going to start getting into more and more episodes that I will not have definitions, because I feel like these are important questions. Like, how do you find a roofing contractor? How do you evaluate them? We've talked about making sure that you trust your roofing contractor, you're working with a trustworthy contractor. So this is just a little kind of how to make sure that you are finding the right people to work with. So, Charity, have you ever had to find somebody to work with? Like anything. It doesn't have to be roof related, but I mean, have you had to find people?
I mean, I recently had to find a home inspector, but I didn't actually have to find a home inspector because my realtor personally works with the company, so it was kind of an easy choice. I could have shopped around, but it was easier just to use who they already use.
And I mean, I can think of some things. If you buy a car, you have to decide if you like the car
dealership. Yeah.
If you have to bring your car in to get work done, you have to decide who is the best person. Who do you believe is most trustworthy? You know, all of the things that we will say today, I think, apply to more than just roofing situations. We're just going to attribute them to roofing. So maybe we should start with, how do you find a contractor?
Oh, well, there are so many different things you should go through to find a contractor. And the first question you should ask yourself is, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a roof replacement contractor? Are you looking for a repair contractor? Are you looking for someone specifically who does flashings? Like, you need to know what type of contractor you're looking for. Yes, there's some of those contractors that do everything. They're a jack of all trades. But before even searching, you want to know specifically what you're looking for, so you're not wasting your time looking at a contractor that doesn't do what you're needing.
Mm-hmm. So, for example, Roofmedics, the company we work for, really is a roofing company focused on repairs and restoration and maintenance, repair, restoration, and maintenance for commercial roofing. That is what we market out there. That is what we prefer. And so if you are a homeowner, Roofmedics probably isn't going to be what you're looking for, since we do focus on commercial roofing, not residential. So knowing what type of roofer you're dealing with. I don't know if you ever thought that there are different kinds of roofers out there, but there are.
So after you know what kind of contractor you're looking for, there's a few ways that you can go about searching for them. One, you can do a Google or Facebook search. Both of those are good options to find contractors. And then another way that I would incorporate into that is asking your friends, relatives, even neighbors who they would recommend, or if they really like someone for that job. Personal recommendations are sometimes the best because people aren't going to recommend you to someone they didn't like, but you can ask more questions about why they hired someone, why they didn't hire someone, etc.
Another thing with that is, if you are going the route of Facebook or Google searches, definitely take a look at the reviews that are left. Some companies might only have a couple reviews, but I feel like even having one or two reviews and seeing what they say can give you a pretty good feel about the company or contractor that you are working with. The best form of referral is a personal one, and Google reviews are kind of like that. So definitely check out the reviews. So you found a contractor, maybe you found a couple that you are interested in. Do not be afraid of, I'm going to say, quote unquote, shopping around for contractors. So let's say you do your search, or you ask some friends, and you get a list of 3 contractors that were recommended. do your research. Look at the Google reviews, look at their website, look at any of their social media accounts. Um, while you are hiring them and they are the expert, it is your building or house or whatever that will be getting looked at. So you want to make sure that you're working with someone who you trust. And one of the best ways to figure out if you trust someone is having that initial meeting. I know a lot of roofing companies will offer free or low cost inspections. Get a couple inspections, have the companies come out, have them look at your roof. It is okay to get multiple opinions and then see how that first interaction with them goes. So if you have a conversation with them and you say that you're looking to be under a specific budget, or you know the history of your roof, so you're only looking to get certain repairs done, if they are listening to you and they understand where you're coming from, it's a sign of respect. If someone listens to you, it's a sign of respect. I liken it to my experience with buying a car. And I know that the experience isn't the same for everyone, but in my experience, I was 20, 21 when I bought my car, and I'm a female. And those two things just like did not mix together very well when I went to buy a car. So thankfully, my dad went with me, and we got to the car. We went to many car dealers over the course of like 2 months. And the biggest thing with all of them is that one, they wouldn't talk directly to me because they're like, oh, there is a older male in the room and knows more, so we're going to talk to him. And my dad was really good about redirecting them, like, she's the one buying the car, you need to talk to her. He was just kind of there as my like buffer to make sure that I was making a good decision. But it was very obvious that they were not listening to me throughout the entire experience, and so I did end up finding one that listened to me. But I think that's the thing. When people are talking above you or around you or like not directly to you. So if you get that feeling with a contractor, just cut it off there. Like, do not move forward.
Or be direct with them, like, listen, if you want my business, you need to talk to me.
You need to not only talk, but also listen.
Because sometimes you don't have the option to go with someone else if you live in a small town and that is the only company.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Like, you're the boss, you're paying them.
Yeah. So
they're not paying you.
They should be listening. Along with listening, are they pushy? Are they pushing you in a direction you don't agree with? Charity, have you ever been pushed in a direction to buy something that you didn't like?
Yeah, a car a few years ago. Not the one that I currently own. But the car before the one that I currently own, I was very much pushed to buy that one.
By the dealer?
Yes, because apparently it was the only car I could buy, which I feel is not accurate.
And we're just going to put this disclaimer. We don't have anything against car dealers.
It's just a good comparison.
It's just a really good comparison. With roofing, our company focuses on the repair, restoration, maintenance. And this goes with like knowing what you want, of course. But if you have someone come look at your roof, the history of the roof, say it was put on 10 years ago, and you've had one other person look at it in that time frame, like 3 years ago after a storm, and it really wasn't that bad, and then all of a sudden you have a leak and someone goes up on your roof and they're like, oh, well, you have to get the roof replaced.
But do you get a second opinion?
Get a second opinion, and if they continue saying that you need to go in that direction and you're like, actually, I really just would prefer if it were repaired, and they just keep pushing you towards no, you have to get it replaced, you have to get it replaced, maybe go a different direction. Because if they're pushy in this way, it means they might be pushy in the future, and it's just not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling to feel like you're not in control when, again, you're the one paying them.
Talk frequently with them, but I feel like that's a little more of a personal preference. I very much am one of those people that likes to know what's going on, when it's going to happen. I like a very set in stone timeline, time frame. I need to know every single detail all the time. If something changes, changes, I want to be the first one notified. I like to be in the loop. So if I'm hiring a contractor, I'm probably the worst person to work with because they are going to get all the questions all the time. I'm going to want to know the time frame when it's going to be done. Oh, this was an issue. Well, when can you fix it? How much is it going to like? I want all the questions and all the answers in a pretty little binder.
And with that, I mean, I would say if a contractor gets mad at you for asking those questions,
They might not be the best contractor for you.
you want someone who's going to talk with you, give you the answers, and really be okay with you wanting to know what's happening. Again, it's your roof, your money. Don't give that power up. Does the contractor give you options, or do they just tell you you need to replace the roof? And you may say that this is like being pushy, but it's a little bit different. Do you get told you have X and Y, or do you get told you have X, Y, and Z? These are the price points. This is what we can do. And by the way, we think that X is the best option, but it is up to you.
I think that also depends on situation. I recently just had a roof inspection done on my house, and on one of the things that's going on with my roof is I have some stuff around around the chimney that needs to get taken care of. There's only one option for repair because that is the only option for repair. And I know that. Like, I know that there's only one option.
But here's the thing. Do you feel like you're pushed to that?
No, but I trust my contractor, and if there was more than one option, I know that I would have gotten that. But there was only one option because that is the only option. So not all the time are you going to get more than one option, but is your contractor willing to give you more than one option if it's available?
I think another thing we should talk about is what is the contractor's history or experience level?
Oh, experience is so important. You don't.
I mean, it's hard. So experience is important, and I would say that if you can work with an experienced contractor and you know that they have 20 some years, but this isn't to say that the startup company that started a year ago is also not good. But you want to know.
But I would want to know their experience before they started up, because if they have zero experience, I'm not sure I'm going to be willing to get them up on my roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, here are some practical ways to find if a company has experience. Check out their website. If a company doesn't have a website, or the website is like not super in depth and doesn't have a lot of information, it probably means that they're not what they're putting out there. A lot of companies, particularly roofing companies, will highlight their experience on their website. And in the case that it is a newer business, I mean, they will have or should have some form of information about how they got started, why they got started. Even if a company is new, started up like 6 months ago even, you ask them, what experience do you have? Because most people don't just start a roofing company with little experience. Like, they either have some sort of background
or they have someone in the company that has experience.
Yeah, like there's a reason why the company is started. So if they don't even have that, or they won't answer your question, consider that a red flag. Feel free to act like it's a job interview. Ask them for their resume. Ask them for references even.
Remember, you're the one in charge. You're hiring them. You're paying them. Ask what you need to ask of them.
And if they get kind of snotty about it, probably not a good fit. And remember, you are in control of who you hire.
All right, so that completes today's episode. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Bye.
That brings us to the end of today's episode. If you've been loving what you're hearing, make sure to press the subscribe button so you get notified anytime we post a new episode. Episodes come out on Monday and Fridays. Please feel free to share this podcast with a friend. We'd love everybody to be able to join us and learn more about the roofing industry as we go along on this journey. If you don't already, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. I will put all of our information down in the show notes below. Feel free to contact us with any questions or any roofing ideas that you would love for us to talk about. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you next time.